for watching. Now, I know there are many different ways to generate new customer leads for your business, but consumer habits have shifted over the last couple of years since the pandemic, and I wanted to show you how you can leverage local internet search volume to bring all the leads you can handle right through your own website for free. Well, at whatever it costs to keep your site alive. Now, these leads will be coming exclusively to you, unlike using third-party sites like Angie's and Home Advisor, where you're competing with a lot of other people. And you can also see that there's going to be some value in it because I'm going to show you the amount of traffic and leads coming to your top competitors in your area so that you'll know exactly what to expect. So just for comparison, what I've done is I've taken your website as well as a quick search for HVAC San Diego, and I take the top 3 ranking websites or businesses here, and I put all of them into this tool that I use, and it shows me all the information that Google sees and uses to determine your position in the search results. Now, as you can see, just based on some of these numbers, why these sites are outranking yours. But let me just quickly run through what these numbers mean. And then as we go through your site, we can see what changes need to be made and how that will affect its ranking. So when Google is determining how to rank a website, it uses 2 different factors. The first is what's called the authority or trust that it has in your site. Now, this basically boils down to a popularity contest because this authority is gained when other domains or websites refer back to yours, and then they create a link called a backlink. This acts as an endorsement that Google uses to build trust because others are vouching for you. So to just give you a quick example, let's say the local news station did an article on their website saying that the top 10 best HVAC companies in San Diego area. And in that article, the reader could click on a link and it would bring them to your website. That would be considered one backlink from one referring domain. Now, these backlinks can come in many different forms: blogs, editorials, guest posts, press releases. One really strong and important type is what's called a citation, and that's any time that your name, address, and phone number appear in an online directory. Those can be anything from Yelp to Yellow Pages to Better Business Bureau. The good news about these citations is they are highly trustworthy because they're coming from reputable sources, but they're also free. It just takes time to find them and then register your business and then input the information exactly as it's shown in Google. So as you can see, Google places a lot more trust in these competitors due to the number of backlinks that they have coming from different websites. However, it is something to also note here. It's all not just a matter of sheer quantity of these links. Quality has a lot to do with it. So we need to make sure that we're linking back to other websites that are trustworthy themselves, definitely inside the United States, but also relative to your business industry. We can't link back to, like, say, Pizza Hut or anything like that because Google understands that your business model isn't making pizzas. Now, the second factor for ranking your site is the content on the page. This is becoming a larger and larger factor because Google is trying to supply what's called high quality content to the people that are searching. Now, we don't have any kind of keywords that are being associated with your site right now, but let's just take a look here at one of the competitors just so I can use this as an example. Let's see somebody that's a little bit more local. All right, so HVAC San Diego, that's being searched 600 times per month. Right now, this company is in the 4th position, so they're right at the top of the first page. Google estimates that, conservatively speaking, 10% of total search volume should convert into a lead. So of these 600 people, let's imagine if your website was ranking at the top of Google search. Of the 600 people that are searching for this one specific keyword, 60 of those should turn into a lead to contact you, whether through email, contact form on your website, or directly calling you. Now, let's be even more conservative and say that you only close 25% of those, or a quarter of that. Now we're talking 15 leads per month or 15 jobs per month just off of this one specific keyword. Now, obviously, the type and the scope of the job varies, so does the profit margin, but you can just see how the sheer volume of leads coming in can definitely add up to some revenue at the end of the month and at the end of the year. And that's just for one specific keyword. If we repeat that same process for all the high volume keywords relative to your service area and the services that you offer, you can see how that can definitely start to add up to a lot of leads coming in. So if we take a look at the site, what Google does when it comes in and looks at your site, basically the first thing it's going to do it's going to count all the words on the page. It's a computer, so the first thing it's going to do is just count everything, and it's going to be searching while it's counting these words, it's going to be searching for those keywords. Generally, as a rule of thumb, we recommend anywhere from about 1,000 to 1,500 words on a homepage, only because the more information that you have on the page, the more of an expert that Google feels you are in that particular field. Now, these keywords that it's looking for, we can't just add the keywords as a list or randomly. Google really, like I said, is focusing on what's called high quality content. So for every keyword that we want to use, we usually have to add about 100 to 150 words of text to describe and back that up and qualify that keyword. That way Google can recommend you in search based on that, understanding that you are an expert or you're offering some kind of information relative to that keyword search. So the more keywords that we want to get attached to your site to be found in search would just be the more content that we have to add. The way we do that is we break it up. Let's see if anybody's doing a halfway decent job. This is basically a similar format. So you're going to have what's called a heading, where we're going to insert the keyword, and then you're going to have some text backing up that keyword, so that way we can qualify that and describe, how you are an expert in that field. So same thing. This is a heading, and then we have text to qualify that. So that's the basic format. Google is basically looking at it as, it sees a text or a keyword in a big bold heading. It understands that's important, and then we have to have information that's relative to that specific keyword to describe it, so that way Google can recommend you in search. So it would be a little bit of restructuring of the website so that way we can get the proper amount of content on here, so then you can start being found for those keywords and start getting those searches. Then we could talk about creating links to your website to other places, so that way Google can recognize you as an authority and a trustful source. So how this plays out in search, anytime somebody searches for anything, first thing that's going to come up is paid ads. These are basically every time somebody clicks on this, it's costing this company money, whether they use it or not. So it is a good tool in order to get instant first page placement. However, it can get quite costly. This, however, the map section is completely free to be in. This is part of your Google business profile. Notice you do have one. However, there are ways to optimize it so that way you can get in these top three. And like I said, this does not cost anything. This is just based on relative location to who's doing the searching and making sure that your business is located in their area, but then optimizing your listing to get into these top three. Now, the way we do that is we make sure we fill out all the information that we have here that's possible. So we want to make sure that you have the address, the phone number, as many business categories are relevant to you, things like that. So basically all the information. We're also allowed to create a business description up to 750 characters. We put a lot of keywords in there as well. And then we want to make sure, obviously we're getting customer reviews. We have a way to generate those reviews, real reviews. Google is really trying to crack down on fake reviews, but we have a way to actually get your existing customers to get reviews for you. And then you want to get as many of those citations as possible. Your name, address, and phone number. You want to appear in as many directories as possible. And then, believe it or not, you can actually post to your profile. It's similar to social media where you're posting to like a wall on Facebook. You can create updates, offers, and anything like that. But basically, Google wants to see activity, and they reward that activity. So if you're posting on this on a regular basis, Google is going to see that you're active in your business. And then the biggest thing that get missed is you're also allowed to add pictures to the profile. But we go one step further, and we actually what's called geotag those photos. So Google can't understand what a photo is by looking at it, but it can understand the information that's embedded in the photo. When you take a picture with your smartphone, it automatically embeds your location, the camera type, the date, the time, things like that. What we're doing is we are embedding that geolocation information into your service area. So wherever that area might be that you actually service, we're basically locating those photos within that area, so that way Google can really understand what your actual search area is. So that way it's just one more cue, so that rather than just the generic map of what you have here, we're actually locating those pictures in specific areas within there. So if somebody is close to that picture, it understands that you definitely do business in that service area. So these are all things that can get first page placement. These top three automatically show up in here on page one. And believe it or not, somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50% of traffic can actually come just to these top three because they're right at the top of the page. And when somebody's searching for a local business, they know that this is in their local area. Now, underneath that, this is what's called the organic search results. And this is where the more authority or trust that Google has in your site, the higher up on the list you're going to rank. So this is where getting more of those links or referrals from other websites will help you climb and outrank the competition. Good news about this is once your site is ranking, unlimited number of clicks, no matter how many times somebody lands on your website, you're not being penalized like a ad. It doesn't disappear once you hit an ad spend, anything like that. This page is here to stay, assuming that you're still outranking the competition. Now, it does seem like it's pretty stiff competition when you've got thousands of backlinks and referring domains. But this is something where some of these might be spammy, some of these might be for other services that you're not even competing with. So we really only have to worry about directly competing with the individual services that you offer and the individual keywords that you offer. But you can also see how it drops down. This is position 1, this is position 2, and then if we get down to position 3, this is definitely becomes manageable, and this is something that we can definitely compete with on a local scale. And there are always areas where there are certain keywords that are going to rank a lot easier and faster than others as we're waiting for the big high dollar keywords. But really the point is to make sure that whatever it's costing you to keep your website active on the internet, and basically build this authority, it should be generating more revenue than it's costing. So it's an investment rather than an expense. Now, I hope this information was helpful and just shows you how we can scale some of your online presence, but please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if you want me to go in any further details. We can talk about some of the goals for the business, and then I can do some research on my end to find out what it would take for you to reach those. And I always appreciate just getting feedback as well, just to find out if information like this was useful for you. So please let me know what you thought. Thanks, and I appreciate your time.